Joining me now, entertainment attorney Tre Lovell, to talk more about this case. Good morning to you. Thanks for being here. Alec Baldwin is a pretty powerful figure, I imagine, on the witness stand. He could be also intimidating and pivotal in this case. He also comes with an ego, right? He's a famous actor. Will he take the stand? What do you think that conversation is between him right now, Tre, and his legal team?
That's a great question. In 99% of the cases, the defendant does not take the stand. And the reason for that is the cross-examination they'll be subjected to and the attack on the credibility. Credibility is everything in cases like this. And if the jury thinks you're lying for a second, it could taint the entire testimony. So that's why defense lawyers are very reticent to allow the clients to testify. However, in this case, it's a little bit different because one of the pivotal arguments the defense is making is that he didn't pull the trigger. And the prosecution has had an expert look at the gun, and their results are, hey, you had to have pulled the trigger. This thing is not going to release unless there's pressure on the trigger. And so Baldwin's team has not been able to have their own expert look at the gun because it was destroyed during the testing of the prosecution. So the real evidence they're going to have is Baldwin's testimony. So if they're going to push this narrative, Baldwin's team is going to push this narrative that I didn't pull the trigger, they may need him to testify to that effect. They may get an expert to say, hey, based on what he has said in his description of what happened, there is a possibility it could have been pulled based on the type of gun. But the most reliable evidence is going to be his testimony. So it's going to be a real decision to make. And they're going to make it at the end, see how the case is going. If they think they've got reasonable doubt without needing it, then they won't use them.
How about the argument actor versus producer, or somebody who is more in charge on the set? How do you think that will factor in to both of the legal arguments here, that he had more responsibility than just acting?
That's going to be that's a major argument here. So as an actor, the argument is, hey, I'm an actor. I'm not responsible for set safety. I'm legally able to rely upon an expert telling me the gun is safe before I use it. It's not my job to check it. Now, they're going to argue that, hey, not only were you an actor, but you're a producer. You're in charge of the set. But you need to remember, a producer is a credit. And people get credits for a number of different things, for raising money for a movie, for bringing an element on. And a lot of A-list actors, as part of their deal, they will get a producer credit. So the mere fact that he's a producer doesn't necessarily mean that he was in charge of set safety. So a couple of the arguments with the set safety are, hey, it was chaos on the set, you weren't following safety protocols, and you negligently hired personnel, including Gutierrez. He's going to say, hey, I had no responsibility to hire anybody. I had no responsibility for set safety. It was just my credit. And so that's going to be a lot of the evidence. And the duties of a producer are largely established through the union, as well as through their own agreements in terms of what their job is going to be on the set.
We're looking at some video of Hannah Gutierrez-Reed, the armorer on the set. She was charged and found guilty by a jury and then sentenced to 18 months for her role in what happened. How problematic is that for Baldwin's defense team, that they've already seen this case play out and the result of it?
I think that's going to help his team because, when accidents like this happen, juries want to hold somebody accountable. If somebody is killed for no good reason, somebody else must be responsible. And it's very compelling. In this case, they have somebody that's responsible. The armorer, whose primary job was for the safety of the gun, she's been convicted. So they found the person. So Baldwin's team is going to argue, hey, you've already found the person. Now they're just trying to do overreach and go after people who had no duty to make sure that this gun was safe. And so I think it helps. The jury is going to say, well, they did actually find somebody guilty. Maybe they are overreaching.
Yeah, maybe it does take the pressure off. Tre Lovell, thank you for your perspective on this. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.